in this media.
The one big piece I want to hit on is the only thing that the no people have that they've been saying thus far is the cost. This lie about the cost. And it's a flat lie. They said it's going to cost $3.4 billion. They looked at the charter provisions and it said $3.4 billion. We as Detroiters, we said, wow, we don't believe that, but come to our charter meeting. Let's discuss it. Let's look at your report and see what you have to substantiate it. They refused to come. They didn't come to February meeting, March, April, May, June. They still ain't been. They still ain't coming. They ain't coming, I guarantee you. So I, having reviewed city financial budgets and fiscal reports for the last 20-some years, CAFRs, things like that, Comprehensive Annual Financial Report, I said, well, you have to have some budgetary assumptions behind the numbers that you've developed to support this $3.4 billion. Provide those at the least. Refuse to provide it. So we said, well, okay, we're going to have to get an independent expert. So we hired an independent expert, MSU professor, Dale Bellman, PhD economist, brilliant person. He's been here to reviewing city financial analyses and documents, fiscal reports in the past for the city of Detroit. And he looked at it and said, there's nothing to this. It's nowhere near $3.4 billion. It's unsubstantiated. It's grossly exaggerated. It's unsupported by the data. So we have in our Facebook page, I encourage people to look at it, vote yes on Proposal P. Go to Facebook. You can do our website is www.yesonpeoplescharter.com. Go to that, check it out. We have the city's report, the CFO report saying $3.4 billion. And we have a line-by-line analysis breaking down each and every cost item in that report to debunk it, to show how it really doesn't add up. Because basically what they did is they looked at the charter language and they read it much differently than what we provide for. They read it to say we're giving away free bus tickets, where instead we say, City Council, write an ordinance which calls for the reduction of fare for those who need it. We don't say how much you reduce it by. You don't say where you get the money from, whether it's grant funding or increasing the rates for other people, whatever. Do your job. We say, City Council, write a water affordability ordinance so people don't have to get their water shut off, and affordability funds so that they can have money to pay. They say, oh, everybody's going to get free water. We say a public broadband commission will study the issue of getting Wi-Fi for Detroiters. We don't say where that money's coming from. They're going to tap into grant funding, I hope, so that Detroit shouldn't even have to pay for it. The CFO said, oh, everybody's going to get free Wi-Fi. So it's all of these misnomers that came out of this report. Then the numbers changed from $3.4 billion down to $2 billion. So the numbers keep changing. You can't really trust the numbers. Just a couple of quick things on the numbers. If you believe their city's report, so that's what they come out and say, oh, it's going to hurt the pensions, it's going to hurt increase taxes, it's going to reduce services. Oh, that's a lie. None of that's going to happen. But if you believe those numbers, you have to believe literally that not only will people get a free bus ticket when they get on the bus every time, there will be no bus revenue collected. You also have to believe that people will get paid to ride the bus. They claim they charge us more than what they actually collect in bus revenue for our charter plan, which means that it's not just that you lose all the revenue, but also there's got to be some other expenditures, meaning you got to pay people to ride the bus. Mm-hmm. If you believe their numbers, you have to believe that there will be dozens of secretaries hired who each will make $200,000 a year annually to send out meeting notices for volunteer commissions. Dozens of them. No secretary makes that kind of money. Mm. If you believe that, you have to believe that they're going to be 42,000. This one really got me. 42,000 students, teenagers, hired by the city of Detroit each summer. Mm. The city only has 10,000 people in total. The city has a program that's privately run where private industry hires 8,000 teens. We don't even get any to 10,000 teens in that. And that's hundreds of companies. The city can't afford and doesn't have the space to hire 42,000 students. I asked the CFO, I said, where'd that number come from? He said, oh, I think that's the census. So what they literally did is they took a charter provision which only says that there should be a youth program for the summer where each department hires youth. So if they hire one, there's 16 departments. Each department hire one. That's 16 kids. $1,500 a person for the summer, $24,000. Okay, we'll eat that. Instead, they say 42,000 students hired. Where'd the 42,000 come from? Every single solitary teen in the city of Detroit between the ages of 14 and 18 gets a job with the city. Every single teen. That's our assumption. That's a budgetary assumption. And so because of that, if every single team gets a job, $1,500 per team, $63 million they claim that program is going to cost. That's the logic, the falsehood in their logic that they have when they presented those numbers. I even asked the CFO, I said, wait a minute. Is this how you normally put together your annual budget? Because I've been looking at these for 20-some years. He said, no, this was not done in a normal budgetary methodology. So what you're admitting to me, sir, is that you're telling people this is what it's going to cost, but you're admitting that your numbers were not prepared in the same way that you add up costs usually. Yeah. So why don't you publish that? Why don't you tell people that instead of lying to these pensioners, telling them that it's somehow going to hurt their pension? When, by the way, their pension comes out of a separate account altogether. And by the way, their pension is protected, Article 9 of the state constitution. It cannot be impaired. So we cannot, if we wanted to, the state law prohibits us from taking away their pensions. And me, as a lawyer for the pensioners and the city workers through the bankruptcy, many of them, I would not sign my name to anything that would take away the rights of pensioners. I simply wouldn't do it. We enhance the rights of pensioners. So people ought to look at the Vote Yes on Proposal P, look at the Facebook page, yesonpeoplescharter.com, look at the website, educate yourself. All these commercials, all these are just flat lies. And then please reach out to us, yesonpeoplescharter@gmail.com, yesonpeoplescharter@gmail.com. We need volunteers. We need phone bankers. We need people who are going to walk the streets. We need people who work the polls on election day. We need money. We need to raise some money. We got an Act Blue account. Hit me up. We'd love to, have your donation. This is a critical time, folks. This is the time when the people have to take a stand. But I must say, as I conclude, I've not seen political experts and pundits will say they've not seen anything like this in decades.
I mean, it's more money being spent on the campaign for No on P.
Yeah.
Than I've seen in a long time. I actually see more No on P commercials than I saw Biden commercials around here.
Yeah.
Black revolutionaries, distillery owners, Italian fashion retailers, and Motown Grammy winners all share their best stories never before told in any other media outlets on Detroit is Different. Visit DetroitisDifferent.com or download the Detroit is Different app on Apple's App Store or Google's Play Store.